Okay, we're going to do a new layout. I'm going to show you real quick how I do things for prototyping for leather work on my laser. So here I do 1000 millimeters. That's what I use. I don't use inches. And then 1300 DPI and create artboard. Create. So say I'm going to make a name placard, so I'll click the rectangle. You don't want this gray, so you go to up here on the fill, get rid of the gray, and so no fill, click off, click the arrow, when you choose that again, and you go over here to the width of the line, and I type 0.25 millimeters, enter, click off. Now you see the box. So I don't want this so big. I'm going to make it 100 by 20. Then hold down control and zoom in with the scroll mouse. This microphone's not so loud. I was holding it close. I'm going to put it under on my shirt. So space bar and then left mouse button will drag around. You probably already know that. So in essence, we have a rectangle. Click off, and I'm going to choose text, artistic text tool. Click anywhere. Let's put JF Clay Leather. Say I don't like that font. Go up here, find something bizarre. Let's see. I like this one actually. Bring it up to the box. Let's make it a good size. You don't have to center it, just click and drag a box over both. Click the middle, line center, and then this one, line middle. They're good. And if you brought this into, for me, I have an X tool S1 40-watt laser, and it would replace this font with something else because I don't think it has this type of font. So what you need to do is just click on it, right click, and then you want to convert to curves. And you can see it looks like nothing's changed, right? But if you ungroup it, now every item is, you need to choose the arrow here, node tool. You can see I'm going to control and scroll wheel in, space bar to drag. You can see all the different points, right? You could adjust them if you want to make it really unique. But I'm going to control Z, selection tool. So now these are no longer fonts, they are basically objects or paths. I don't know a whole lot about the intricacies of these designing programs. I just know you don't want the font because when you bring it into the laser program, it doesn't know what's going on. So anyway, so let's just select all this text, Control G, we grouped it, then Shift, click the box. We're going to center it and center it, right? And then Control G again. Now this whole thing is one group, right? So we could stop there, export it as an SVG, but that for me doesn't work, and I'll explain why. You see how big our artboard is? It's not really going to make a difference when it's an SVG. It'll show up on your laser program anyway, but I like to keep it clean. So what I do before I do that, I'm going to take another box, another rectangle, draw it around this, go down, look at the size, 110.8 by 27.4. I'll make this say 112, keep it even, make this 27, right? So remember that 112 by 27. So we click another text, 112, 27, right? And I'm going to change that font. Just make it something that the program has, Arial, right? So we know 112, this one here, 112 by 27, 112 by 27, right? That's what we want. So we just put this right here. That's fine. Then Control G, got all grouped together. Control scroll mouse out. Let's drag this to the corner. Click artboard. We're going to scroll out again, and then we're going to just drag that space bar left mouse button, and we're going to drag this. Let me click this again, just to make it a good size. So that's fine, right? So File, Save As. We'll save it as this. Yes. And then you want to go to File, Export, SVG. I got 300. I don't even think I changed any of this stuff. This is fine. I don't know a lot about this, to be honest. Just export, save it as that, whatever you want to call it. So now I have an SVG. So what I'm going to do after this, take that SVG, upload it to my Google Drive, go on the other computer. I have an Apple MacBook I got for like $100, and I'm going to download it to that computer, which is connected to the laser, and then I'm going to show you how I cut this out. So I learned something interesting the other day, and I'll share that with you right after this. This is not dirty, it's just brown dye. But what I found out was, if you take the veg tan leather, instead of putting masking tape or putting magnets to hold it down in the laser, just spray it with water and it will sit flat, and it works great. And you don't get a lot of char marks either. So let's do that now. We're just doing the bottom piece here. I'm doing one-handed, holding the microphone, or excuse me, the camera, holding the phone. You don't have to saturate it. Just make it kind of damp. You want to make sure you got a clean surface, obviously. This is just for experimentation. So that's fairly flat. I think it's going to need some more water. Right. And this one's been a little stubborn. I'm going to cut the piece, put it in the laser, and then we're going to go from there. The X Tools software, and I know I'm using my phone to do this, not the best. File, import image, and then I go to my downloads test. So if you see this, you can see that it's 112 by 27, but if you look over here, you can see it's 502, and that's not the size, right? So that's why we put this here, so you know how to appropriately size this SVG for this software so it cuts exactly what you want. So just click on the first box, change it to 112, apologize for this, and then if you hit tab, you can see, look at that, the height's changed to 27. You can unlink this if you want, so that, you know, if you change this, it doesn't change this, but I found out that every time the ratio is correct. So this is what I want, 112 by 27. I'm just going to move it over here, and I can't do much with one hand, but basically this is good now, the size. I'm going to click off it, and what you're going to do, actually, you want to right click, you want to ungroup, and let's delete this outside box, we don't need it. And then same with the letters, we don't need all these either, right? I can't really zoom in because I got one hand holding this. I'll be right back. But on the Mac, I do Control and scroll in. Let's get rid of that. Right there. And we want to keep the box, right? So I can just group it. I'm going to auto measure, and then I'm going to mark the processing area. You should know how to do this already if you have an X tool. And then we're going to cut it with the laser, and then we'll measure it. But for this, I want to show you, actually, let's ungroup it. And let me zoom in. So let's just I'm going to click each letter, hold down shift. I want to group the letters. I know that sound is my exhaust from my laser. So right click group. Then we go to engrave. I have a setting here that I made, so it's power 50%, speed is 200, and it engraves really nicely. So that's what I want, right? For that. I'll click here, 5200, and the box, I want to cut it. My setting for edge tan, it may not be the perfect one, but it is 100 and the speed is 39, one pass. So all that's set, I'm going to do the auto measure and I'm going to mark the processing area. Alright, so if I show you the software, you know this, I guess I can show this. If you can see it, it's awfully dim, my display, I'm not sure why. But click on auto measure and then go over here. It's going to measure the thickness of the leather. When it comes back, okay, and then now we are going to mark the processing area. We're going to use a rectangle. I'm going to start marking. So I just go find a good edge for a rectangle, press the power button, the other end of the rectangle, let's say right about here. And that's all you need for the rectangle. And go back and marking, and then done. And then I'm going to use the control and mouse wheel, so you might lose the picture here for a second. Alright, so now you can see, drag that into the box. I just made a mistake, right? So Command Z, and select all this, right click group, drag it over. I'm going to do control, zoom in again. And you can see it's a little bit too big for this case, but my letters are fine. So I am going to ungroup this because I only have scrap leather I'm using. And I am just going to shrink that. Now I'm going to do group again. Yeah, if you normally have a big piece of leather, but I'm using a scrap and I don't want to waste a lot. So that's good. We have all the power settings done, right? So we should be good to go. This is our processing area. And I will hit process. Close that. Go back over here. I want to hit start. Now we got to press the power button and see what we get. There we go. That's what we got. Couldn't cut through there. I can use a, oh, it did. We're fine. And there you go, right? And if you measure it, what do we get? So if you're thinking, wait a minute, that didn't do the right size, it did, because the outside box was 100. So this was a little bit smaller. I don't remember what the size of this is, but this is correct. And there you have it. That's how to cut things out with your laser after using Affinity. I hope this helped. It's easier than it looks. Took me a while to figure it out, but yeah, I can make stuff quickly now, at least engrave letters. So thanks for watching.